I have a tag question primarily for the British subscribers, friends. I'm trying to think of who that is anymore except for Jasmine. Used to be Christopher and Joe. But anyway, over here we're having a lot of Princess Diana documentaries for the anniversary of her car crash and death. And I was wondering, how do people over there in England feel about Camilla these days? I remember used to be, especially after Diana died, and there was this upsurge in love for her, that Camilla was bottom of the barrel. She will never be queen, they would say, and Charles and Camilla were vilified. And then it seemed like, as time went by, people wanted to say, "Oh, they were in love. Give them a chance. You know, who are we to judge? Let them be happy." And Camilla was kind of accepted then, as time passed by. And she became, I don't know, what is she now? Duchess or Countess of something or other. And they were allowed to get married, and everybody seemed to have the, I hope you can hear me over the wind, over the whole thing, and seemed to be more or less, it's their private lives, just let them be happy and get on with it type of attitude. Now, the Diana stuff is coming back for the anniversary, and there is a lot of talking about how Camilla showed up at the wedding, and how hurt Diana was, and how her interview where she said, her infamous interview, her infamous statement about there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded. And people are saying what a bumbler Charles was, and even the Queen supposedly, when Diana went to her, said Charles is hopeless, she didn't know what to do. So I just wondered if over in England, if with all of this coming out and coming up again, is the royal family being, especially Charles and Camilla, are they being seen in a bad light again? Remember that there was almost talk of revolution when the royal family didn't leave Balmoral to come back to London, and when they didn't fly the flag over Buckingham Palace at half-mast, and the Queen was sort of more or less forced to give a little speech on TV and lower the flag. And is any of that coming back now with this anniversary and with the re-airing of the interviews and all that kind of stuff? I'm just curious. I'm not a subject of the royal family, but I was always a Diana fan personally, and I still am. Yes, she had faults. She had her issues and she had troubles. And she schemed, she played the media to portray her in certain ways. She had her sides to her that weren't in the public eye. She would sort of be obsessive at times. She would cut herself. She had bulimia or whatever that was. She had her issues and she had affairs, and I personally, I think Prince Harry is the son of that red-headed guy that she had an affair with. Their profile is identical, and I know people say, "Oh no, he looks like a young Prince Philip." I don't think so. I think Harry is, I can't think of his name, but I think he's that guy's son, not Charles's. And part of me thinks, personally, there was a time when Princess Diana supposedly tried to commit suicide by throwing herself down a flight of stairs while she was pregnant with Prince Harry. And part of me suspects maybe she was trying to abort Prince Harry because she knew it wasn't Charles's baby. That's just me. But anyway, I'm a Diana fan, and regardless, I think that her heart was more in the right place than any member of the royal families. I cannot be a fan of Camilla or Charles. I'm sorry. Yeah, you could say, oh, they were in love, leave them alone, blah, blah, blah. He got married to this girl. He made a commitment to this girl. He should have told that old bag to go away, and the old bag should have backed off, because he was married, and if he came around sniffing at her door, she should have said, go back to your wife. She shouldn't have opened her door, laid back, and opened her legs and let him be the tampon. Okay, it's getting too windy, but that's how I feel. Bye. Okay, the wind has died down a little bit. I can continue my rant about the royal family. I think, according to the documentaries, of course none of us were in the relationship, so we don't really know for sure. All we can go by is what we know from the documentaries and from testimony from them and their friends, supposedly their confidants, that the trouble in the marriage really started. Of course, Charles was supposed to always be in love with Camilla, and she was unsuitable for marriage, so Charles was forced to marry Diana, and they didn't really know each other. She was more or less chosen because she was willing, and because she was a virgin, and she was acceptable. But the trouble in the marriage started when Diana became more popular than Charles, and he was too lacking in self-confidence to accept that. They would be walking down the street doing their meets and greets, and they would take opposite sides of the street, and the people on Charles's side would boo and want Diana, and that hurt his pride. And he began to get all upset because he was raised to be the little prince in waiting, and he was used to being special, and here his wife came and eclipsed him, and he couldn't handle it. So he went running back to the woman who would make him feel like that special boy prince in waiting again. He couldn't take being by somebody's side who was more popular and more desirable than he was. He should have been proud. He should have seen that she was bringing the monarchy back into popular demand, and that she was an asset instead of being all hurt and wanting to be the most important. Like JFK and Jackie. When they would travel, people would care more about what she was wearing. It was a very similar situation. JFK didn't get a wounded pride by that. He laughed it off and accepted it as beneficial to him and his presidency to have a popular wife. Charles wasn't smart enough to do that. Anyway, I'm done. Bye.